Let's talk temperature. I've just glued the last bits on our chiller, so that's why I just thought, you know, run a temperature video, maybe makes sense. We also kind of undid the lights. We're just working on the Illumagic lights right now. This is why you see the wood up there. But yeah, temperature, most important parameter in the reef aquarium, one of the most important ones, and kind of overseen by a lot of people nowadays, because you come into this hobby, you kind of overwhelmed with ICP testing, trace elements, magnesium, calcium, how to run your tank, how to filter bacteria, whatever, and it's kind of, you know, taking you away from the core of it, which still one of them is, you know, the one core parameter is still temperature, right? And it's very important because, you know, in the ocean, that temperature is not very fluctuative. It's way, way more fluctuating in a reef tank, right? In the ocean, we get sometimes surface temperatures. We have on the boat, we have a temperature sensor of 30 degrees, sometimes even higher than that, but it's the surface. So when you go deeper, normally the water gets colder, right? So it's just the surface part. A lot of corals, still the ones that live in the 5 meters and stuff, the aquapora species, they will suffer from that. So we have bleaching events because of the heat every year. And you know, these extreme values are very easy to reach in a reef aquarium, right? Hot, right, but also cold. So, for example, in Europe, you know, you have a lot of people do not have chillers; they have heaters because obviously it's mostly cold. But it can still get very, very, very hot in the summer, and then people put up like big fans, cool the surface, or you know, some little tanks that are very, very affected by the heat because they heat up very fast. They'll go with ice cubes, right? But then obviously, you know, the fan is very loud in the living room all the time. Then you have, you know, the ice cubes that are often freshwater ice cubes. So you add a lot of freshwater change. So you have a lot of fluctuations, which is not good for your tank, right? The optimal temperature for a coral, I would say, is somewhere about 24 degrees. 23 degrees, sometimes really good. You know, it's really good to kind of keep a bit of bacteria in check and stuff, so you can kind of even control the metabolism of your bacteria a little bit over the temperature. Hotter means faster metabolism for most of bacteria. But in any way, you know, keeping it at 24 to 26 is the optimum, like 23 to 26 if you want. Keep aquapora, maybe deeper ones, even better. But you know, a chiller sometimes is not a bad investment, even in places like Europe where it's mostly cold, in the northern Europe area, right? Here in Cairns or in Singapore or maybe in the southern areas of the US, normally people have chillers. And one thing that I want to tell you about, you know, temperature control in an aquarium is a heater is simple. You know, you put it in, it just turns on and off, it's fine. But a chiller, there is something to it because you need to pump the water into the chiller and then also get it out, right? So there's a pump involved, and one important thing to it is that you shouldn't take the water from like one end of your filtration. So when the water enters the filtration, take it there and then pump it all over to the other side where it's going up to your tank, because then you actually run dirty water, let's say, not filtered water, over, you kind of bridge that filter, right? And that's not a good thing. So what you need to do, and especially in a Triton method too, you have it in the last chamber in the Triton method, like right where your pump is actually pumping the water out. And there is a very important thing that I did here and I will show you in this video, is that you take the water from one side of that chamber, like as far away as possible from the side that you're going in again, and you pump it into the chiller. And when the water is coming back from the chiller, so the cold water should go right in front of your circulation pump. So what happens is the water is pumped out, the hot water, the cold water comes back, but it's right away taken from the circulation pump, pumped up to the top, to the display tank where you want that cold water, right? That inhibits your chiller to switch on and off all the time, because if you take it from one spot and then you feed it into the same spot, you will run a circuit of cold water and warm water like into it, and this chiller will turn on and off while the water in the top and the main water in your aquarium will still be warm, right? So just have that in mind. Very simple thing. You will see, I possibly showed you already in that video, the B-roll, where I have linked that up that way. And then when you do that with a chiller, everything is fine and it worked perfectly. Okay, so if you have any questions to that, just write them down here. Give me a thumbs up. If you want to follow me and join our lives where I can even answer your questions directly live on Instagram, please do that, and I will see you in the next video.